Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe, replay gang, leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work. All right. Yeah. Okay, y'all. It's all good. Did nothing happen today that we did not expect. Okay. Shout out to Baby Shay Baby 81. Thanks for pulling up. Y'all, did nothing happen today that we did not expect. We knew from the trial that this thing was biased and lopsided anyway. We knew that. So for any of us to think that Kelz was going to get, all right, Mr. Kelly, our apologies, the court's apologies, go home. We knew that one. We knew that wasn't going to happen. If there's any surprise at all, it's the fact that she didn't give him 100 years. Okay. But it's all good in the neighborhood because the appeal process is going to go into motion. So, and that's what we're going to work with. Tia McGray, we knew it, but it definitely hurts. But you know what? It hurts, but we're not going to let the pain hold us down. We're going to take this pain and turn it into energy because it's still free Kelz. It's still free R. Kelly. And that's what that is. So apparently the judge's commentary was these victims were disposable to you. You left in your wake a trail of broken lives. You taught them that life is enslavement and violence and humiliation. Be quiet, Judge. Be quiet. She was too busy preparing this statement that she didn't have time to read the witness, the character letters and things of that nature. So there's nothing she could say that strikes me as being a genuine, in my opinion, this judge already had her mind made up. I'm sorry. And thank God for an appeal. Jennifer Bongine did say that she did tell Kelz, hey, you know what? Don't say nothing. Jennifer Bongine said this is just the beginning. And that's what we're going to rock with. We're going to rock that way. We got Chicago coming up. And that's going to start off correctly because Bongine is heading that trial up. We're not going to come unhinged. That's what we're going to do. Tiffany Only Please said, I believe this is a damn migraine. And I have so many effing words I can't release here. I feel you. Shay Baby said the judge was biased as hell. Yeah, there appeared to be a whole lot of bias in here. From the level of evidence, the manner of evidence that they accepted. The fact that the only person in this entire RICO thing charged was Kelz. So yeah, we know what time it is. We're not idiots. They did them wrong and it's not right. It's not right. But we're going to stand fast. That's what we're going to do because Chicago's coming up and chances are he can be successful in that case. Chances are that can happen. So that might be one fire that will already be put out by the time that's over with. And then, of course, he'll have to work with the appeal on this Brooklyn and then whatever's standing tall in Minnesota. And, I was reading up on that Minnesota action. I mean, listen, this is nothing but a witch hunt at this point. There's not even a reason to have There's not even a reason to have. The biggest thing coming out of this is the laws need to be changed. Um, do you know? Do you know approximately how long it took Mr. Cosby to receive his appeal date after he was sentenced? I don't know, but that is a good question. That's something worth looking into. Um, but either way, you know what? Bonjean's not gonna sleep on it. As fast as humanly possible, Bonjean's gonna file the appeal. It's gonna be heard, and I bet he's gonna get a new trial. I'm sure that there were hellacious errors that went on, and Bonjean will be able to pick it up, even if it's just based on the attorneys. So we're not going to worry about that, y'all. We're going to keep our head up and we're going to stay focused because we have that Illinois action going on, and we have to stay on top of that. So already it's being reported. It says, through tears and anger, R. Kelly's accusers told a court Wednesday that he preyed on them and misled his fans as the fallen R&B star listened with downcast eyes as he awaited his sentencing. You made me do things that broke my spirit. I literally wished I would die because of how low you made me feel. That's what one person said, and was like, do you remember that? A Brooklyn federal court jury last fall found Kelz guilty. We know that part. Outraged over Kelz's sexual misconduct with women and children, and that surviving R. Kelly saga. The woman, it says the woman said Kelz victimized her after she went to a concert when she was just 17. I was afraid, naive, and didn't know how to handle the situation. But did you go back? Did you go back? Because if you were afraid, naive, and didn't know how to handle the situation and you left, why did you go back? And see, and this is the thing, there's no reason for us to be made to feel like, well, you guys are victim shaming. No, the hell we're not. If you are sexually assaulted, sexually abused, sexually any damn thing, and you live to tell about it, then damn it, I need to know that you went to the Popo, filed a report, went to the police, called 12, that you did something immediately after you got out of that predicament. Because if you go back, it's telling me that I'm sorry, but it's telling me that you didn't have a problem with it. It's telling me you wanted round two. And that's not trying to victim shame. That's me telling you that you got me confused. Because what'd you go back for? And this is the same thing they did in Bill Cosby's case. The woman lied, talking about, oh yeah, he did it this year. I was playing Nintendo or whatever game that was. Bitch, the game hadn't even been invented yet. So what are you talking about? And the mere fact that the judge in that case allowed, I meant, you didn't mean that. So the laws need to be changed. Now, I don't know how many activists are in the chat, how many activists are listening to the video, but this is the direction we need to be going in. The governor in Illinois changed a law just so it could scoop Kelz up for this trial coming up. The governor changed the law on the statute of limitations, and so now that allowed Chicago to charge some old school stuff. We didn't vote you in there for that Pretzner or Prisler or whatever the hell your name is. That's not why we put you in there, so you could systematically create scenarios to trap people up. If the governor in Illinois wanted to change some laws, he should have impacted all that bribery going on in Chicago. How about that? So yeah, we need to change the law. Yeah, Alan Browning. Yeah, 30 years, baby. 30 years. And my understanding in the judge's discussion, she didn't say, I'm going to compute X number for time served. There was no mercy, no nothing. And you had Kelz spend all that money or be responsible for those expensive mitigation statements and, psychiatric evaluations and all this and that in 2/3. You had him do all that and you didn't, and it appears as though You didn't take any of that into consideration. And you know what? It's okay. Because things are going to change. Things are going to change. So we're just going to keep our head up. We're not going to, it is insane, Island, but we're just not going to act insane. And we're going to let Bonjean do what she do. And we're going to prepare and ready ourselves for the trial in Illinois, because that's coming up. Bonjean said he's strong and we're going to get through this. Whatever his sentence is, Kelz is hopeful his conviction will be overturned on appeal. Period. And that's what Bonjean said walking in. So, listen, y'all. Bonjean has demonstrated that her ability to handle tough situations is on point. She's demonstrated that. So, that's what we're going to do. Yes, we're aware of all the silliness, the idiocy that went down in this trial coming out the gate, and what they hope will happen in the trial coming up in Illinois. But guess what? It's going to be a whole different ball game. Bonjean is going to object where she needs to. She's going to fight ferociously. And we know that Kelz's other team of attorneys didn't do that. We know that the one lady, Nicole, who in her opening statement said, and so we need you to find the defendant guilty. Oops, I mean not guilty. You allegedly, some type of way, had a professional relationship with Jane Doe number 5 or someone, allegedly. So you weren't even all there to begin with, allegedly. And all that's in the transcripts. So you weren't even there. Were you really representing your client then? But it's all good. We're keeping our head up. We're going to prepare ourselves for the Illinois trial coming up. And we're going to go from there, y'all. That's all we can do. That's really all we can do. So, it's cool. Y'all won. Y'all won. Y'all got a conviction, and you got to man 30 years. But you ain't going to be a winner for long. Because things are going to change. They're going to change. So, I know there's a couple other YouTube channels that are actually in Brooklyn right now, and they have been covering this trial live. I'm sure they're going to be live later on tonight or today, covering it and giving you, additional commentary on, how it was in the courtroom, etc. And I encourage everybody, check them all out, and let's just get all the information we need. But yeah, things are going to change. So what needs to happen is we need to keep a positive mindset. Earlier when I was on today, I dropped the link. I'm happy to drop the link now. If anybody wants to come up, we can chop it up if you want. It's totally up to you. Corey Simmons says, straight BS. They railroaded the man. Yeah, they did. But we knew that coming in. Pink Ice in the house. How you doing, Pink Ice? Somebody say drop the link so I can drop it. But yeah, we knew what it was, y'all. We knew what it was. These accusers, and I said this before, these accusers did not expect, when they started this thing, they didn't expect it to get to this extent, but it did. Okay? They were hoping they could just hit a lick real quick, but the thing spiraled out of control. And so as a result of that, things are going to come out into the light that we actually, that we still don't even know. Yeah, it's not a win if they cheated. You're absolutely right, Pink Eyes. It's not a win if they cheated. So it looks like a win, but it really ain't no win. It's not a win. And Chicago is going to be fresh. It's going to be a whole fresh new air thing. New attorney, new everything. Appropriate and proper defense. One without interference from, wannabe lawyers and what have you. So, we do still have reason to be positive minded about it, y'all. We still have reason to be positive. Let me see, kind of grab some, see if I can pull this up real quick. Yes, Kelly declined to address the court before he was sentenced, and his defense called no witnesses on his behalf. He showed no emotions as Donnelly handed the 30-year sentence. Yeah, because for what? Kelz already knew. Kelz is from the Chi, y'all. He knows what's up. I'm sure he wasn't. He might have been hopeful, but he was probably more like, okay, yeah, we know we're going to need an appeal. Corey said Judge Ann Donnelly can't stop the appeal process. The Second Circuit Court should reverse it. R. Kelly has several great appeal issues. Come on and talk about it. Exactly. And you're right. She can't stop it. That is his right. Hold on, Rob. That's right. Hold on. Now, what I'd like to know is how soon they're going to move him from Brooklyn to Chicago. And I would presume, the trial doesn't start till another, 30 days or so. So it's no telling how soon they'll get him there. And Bongine, since she's not covering Cosby's case now, and she's actually stationed out of New York, it may behoove them for Kelz to remain in New York just so they, have a better opportunity to meet and really work on the upcoming trial in Illinois. So, that's the thing to look for. The other thing to look for, y'all, is going to be on Daposki, that YouTuber that was arrested, because today is the day he was supposed to been, they were supposed to determine when he's going to be sent to New York on his, on the arrest that he just had. So this thing is popping. It's popping. But Kelz is going to come out a winner in the end. We'll just take it from there, y'all. That's all we can do. It's very disheartening. Kelz is strong and ready. Absolutely, Pink Eyes. He's strong and he's ready. And I think the biggest thing, I think the thing that's really working in his favor is the fact that he Kelz ain't come from nothing. Even in all the documents that were uploaded in relation to his sentencing, Kelz told the person, the interviewer, we were in poverty. We were in poverty. We were in poverty. So Kelz knows what it is to have nothing, go from nothing to something. Tiffany said, Mel, Mr. Cosby was convicted 4/18 and was released 6/21. Yeah. So, we'll see. We have to see. And Pink, absolutely. Jennifer did do a great job. She represented for Kelz, and she's still representing for Kelz. All Jennifer could do was come in and just clean up on aisle 9, because Kelz initial attorneys, they wasn't about it. They wasn't about it. And the question is, was they not about it on purpose? Because even one of the attorneys, I think it was Gold, whatever the man's name with a G, said, it's a damn shame that people's ego gets in the way, because part of the reason why they broke up, that the attorney team was splitting up and falling off near the end of this Brooklyn trial, is because the attorneys were arguing among themselves that, no, I want to do the opening statement. No, I want to question this witness. No, I want to do this. And they were like, well, you have a problem with stress. We don't want this to stress you out to the point where, you're going to mess up the question. No, man, don't put that on me, blah, blah, blah. So all that infighting, worried about trying to make a name in this legendary case, that y'all failed your client. Y'all failed your client, Robert S. Kelly. That's what y'all did. But that's water under the bridge. He's been convicted and sentenced. But Bongine is on the case. So you're right, Pink Eyes. Absolutely. Damn great job, Jennifer Bongine. Yvette said, this is a new society created by women for manipulation of justice through bias, judiciary prejudice. Kelz will be a mighty leader. I see it. Yeah, that's where the focus needs to be at this point. We have got to start y'all, we need some laws to be modified. Right now, everybody and their mama's up in here talking about Roe versus Wade. F some Roe versus Wade right now. Because right now, these laws are jamming our black men up. And they're jamming black women up too. They're jamming black folks up. So we need to change these laws. Whew. That's what needs to happen. Pink Eye said, Kelz is woke now to all the frauds around him. Yes, he been hip to it. He been hip to it at this point. So that really is, that's what we got to figure out. How do we as a collective voice, whether it's all women or whether it's women and men, but how do we get a collective voice that says, if you're going to accuse somebody of sexual anything, damn it, you got 12 hours to report that shit. 12 hours. 12 hours. You don't get to go back and get $5,000 a month, get Birkin bags, get trips. You don't get to do all that and take money, allegedly. $80,000? And then you want to come back and now all of a sudden that the government's trying to create some stuff? Y'all get to come through now and be like a victim? Shit, if I paid you, I want a refund. And that's what makes it problematic. That's why the government in the New York case a lot of these people should have never even been allowed to have their issue heard. Because the first question should have been, wait a minute, did you get $80,000 for this? Yeah. Get your ass out of here before I arrest you. And the judge allowed that? And maybe the judge wouldn't have allowed it if Kelz's attorneys would have been arguing that shit. So I believe Kelz has a really good chance in appeal. Criminal justice reform, these laws need to be changed. The judges and prosecutors have so much power. They do. And you know what else? I was thinking about this the other day. Bongine needs to be a judge. She's been in this lawyer game for a very long time. We need judges who, like Bongine, who are fighting for the right thing. Now, we don't need her to be a judge right now because we need her to finish the job with Kelz. But we need people like Bongine to be judges who are going to look at the thing, because there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't have even been allowed to be heard if you had somebody on here who was really in pursuit of justice, not siding with your good AUSAs, allegedly. And what's even sad is so many people that agree and believe with what the media put out. Absolutely, Blue Star. Y'all be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Replay gang, you know what time it is. Leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. You're absolutely right, Blue Star. Absolutely right. And it is free Kelz. It's free Kelz till the wheels fall off. Because the bottom line is, did Kelz have sex with these ladies? Yep. Did the ladies lie about their age? Yep. If there was even any testimony that the women said, I told Kelz 1,000,000 times that I was only 12 and he threw me in the back of the trunk anyway, then Kelz would sure as hell be guilty. But in damn near every circumstance, when it comes out, were you questioned about your age? Yeah. How old did you tell him you were? They always responded with a legal age. So y'all gonna stop playing in our face, acting like you really give a damn about justice. This ain't that. You're not fooling us. All those bad character witnesses will help R. Kelly had nothing to do with the case. They didn't. I'm very disappointed. Free R. Kelz. There were no children. Absolutely. I mean, one or two of the witnesses might have taught Kelz something. Okay? They might have taught Kelz something. Nah, do it like this. Get it in there. Just like that, Kelz. Y'all gonna stop playing in our face. We need to change the laws, y'all. And to be honest with you, I don't know where to start. And it's not even a matter of, well, just vote. Because voting is more, we need to ask these candidates. But we've got to start speaking out, even if it's just on social media. When these people are on here talking about, when they're talking against this, when they're saying, oh no, listen to every woman, listen to all women. Listen to all women if they're telling the damn truth. Like Kelz said, use your common sense, use your head. You don't get to claim that you were abused, molested, whatever, sexually assaulted, whatever. And you kept going back. You left out of New York. You went home, Kelz hit you up and said, hey, meet me in Cali. And you said, well, I don't want to. And so you didn't. He didn't harass you. But later on, you met him again. Why? Because you didn't feel like going to Cali, but you was down to go to New York? You was in the mood for New York? You wanted to see Times Square? Is that it? So you had options. He locked me in a room. You had a phone. And the only person you called was Kelz. Stop this. Stop this. We're not going to keep going with this. We ain't rocking with this. Do you think Ann Donnelly would get her license revoked because of what she was biased? No, her license won't be revoked. Judges don't want cases overturned on their record, because then that reflects on them professionally. It makes it clear that they are slipping or sleeping in the courtroom. So the goal is always to not have your cases overturned. But again, what happened was Kelz's initial team was so kindergarten, okay? And the government's evidence was so piecemeal together that since there was damn near no objections, the judge was like, well, shit, it's a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk. But see, now, when this goes to appeal, we're going to see exactly all of the errors, because Bongine is going to point them out. She's going to point them out. And we're just going to pray. We're going to pray that the appellate court is about the business of justice and not biasness. You right, Pink Eyes, run us our reparations. Cut the check. Ann Donnelly will be the face of disgrace for Obama because she doesn't know how to oversee courts against Black people in sentencing. I'm not voting for any Democrats, especially Black women. They're going to have to prove something to get my vote. I'm in total agreement with you. There ain't no music industry without Kelz. Girl, come on. And once again, Lady D, keeping it real, keep it real. With Lady D, she said it. Kelz did resurrect Mr. Between the Sheets, Ron Isley. He resurrected his damn career. Because wasn't nobody checking for the Isley brothers. They weren't checking for him no more. Until Kelz gave him that Mr. Biggs role. I see someone posted on their community page that appeal will be filed with the courts within 14 days. Yep. It's just a matter of them locking down this proceeding so that they can open up the new proceeding. That's all there is to that. And I'm telling you, I bet you Bongine probably had that motion worked out. And patience is a virtue. Kelz will come out on top. Who wants me to drop the link? I mean, if y'all feeling some type of way, come on up. Let's talk about it. Let's empower each other. And let's talk about it. It's sad. It's definitely sad. But we're not going to let this overcome us. Another thing that Yes, yes. Adrian said, drop the link. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go. Let me put it in the real chat. There we go. Yeah, it's in there. Come on up. He said there's no music concerts without Kelz. Facts. That's facts. It's still all good. We're going to stand tall and look good. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to wait until all of this is over. And I don't know how many Bible readers there are out here, but Job went through hell and high water. He went through hell and high water. So, we're just going to stay positive. Bree Edwards said the judge was biased walking in that court. She even said no matter what Bonjean presented today, she was going to give him 30 years. See what I'm talking about? She was ready. That we already know that. And that's why she waited till today to respond to Bonjean's motions. And my thing is, why didn't you respond to it? Why didn't you respond to it? Why didn't you respond to it sooner? That's what I want to know. The link is in the chat. Y'all want to come up, pull up. I like what Julia said. It was no surprise and not the end of the world. Kelz will come out on top. Appeal is in. Yeah. Yeah. And we have a better attorney on the case, y'all. Period, point blank. We have a better attorney on case. Adrian, if you want to come up, you don't have to have your camera on if you don't want to. It's cool. Let me see something here, y'all. Yeah. Yeah, it's just sad. It's sad. It's a sad day, but it's an empowering day. So we just gonna keep our head up. That's what we gonna do. Right, Island. Shaking my head. It's a sad day, but we're gonna remain empowered. Period. And we have to stay on our P's and Q's. And bottom line is, Kelz has representation that is highly credible. So we can expect that Illinois is going to go a lot better. It's damn sure going to be argued better. All right. What's tea, lady? How you doing?
Hey,
Thanks for pulling up.
uh-uh.
Yeah. So what's tea, girl? How you feel?
I'm not sure. I feel like this is a sad miscarriage of justice from the onset of this case. How many people have been involved in this case?
Right.
How this judge has been unfair from the beginning, not considering any of the motions that was written by Jennifer Bonjean, where she pointed out the facts as well as pointed out how these charges should not have applied, and those things went ignored. But one of the things I want to say to anyone that is in the sound of my voice, go back if you have not listened to the Bill Cosby before his conviction was overturned. Go back and listen to the Superior Court judges, how it was argued that had they just had Andrea Constant on the stand by herself, those charges would have never stuck. So they had to bring these bad witnesses to divert from the charges, so that if they get more people to come out and say he did this to this person, although it's uncharged, unfounded, that the more people they get, they can divert from the actual charges. And so this is what we're looking at. And this is, I just can't see how people don't see how they piled on so many individuals. Also, looking at what if you read the latest motion from the prosecutors, where they were talking about Azriel downloading porn. Well, before the trial, it was already determined that the pornography that she downloaded was not going to be in trial. So why would you raise that to, in your motion before the trial? Like, you're putting things in motions that was not even in the actual trial. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, how
Yeah.
could you think that this is okay? Then
Okay.
you charge him with bribery, but then you find a way to sit back and talk about sexual encounters with Aaliyah, who's not here to defend herself,
Right.
and he has a Fifth Amendment right. I mean, he has the right to front his accusers. So you can't come in and say you saw something when she's not there to testify as a victim, and you put this in your paperwork that she was a victim. That's a problem.
Right. Especially when Aaliyah's own mom said, and I'm gonna be honest with you about the Aaliyah thing. Okay, so and standing for injustice, girl, you made some damn good points. Thank you for pulling up. You made some really good points there. So thank you for that. And in the information that was that I downloaded yesterday from Pacer, everything, the redacted and unredacted things. Uh, so we finally got some good clarification within those documents about the marriage to Aaliyah. And in there, and I'm not reading it directly, I'm just telling y'all what I read. Kelz says that what it was is Aaliyah's parents did not want Aaliyah going to Chicago for whatever reason. They didn't want her
Mhm.
in Chicago. And so a whole lot of back and forth went on. She finally got to Chicago. And Aaliyah said, listen, I want to stay here. Um, and I can't remember exactly, either Aaliyah said she wanted to get married, or Kel said, if you stay here, you have to get married. But if we get married, you got to go back home. There was nothing about her being pregnant. And I thought I was going to get in trouble. And it's been stated before that Kelz thought he was going to get in trouble, not because Aaliyah was pregnant, but because um, she was in Chicago when her parents didn't want her there. So allegedly she'd snuck up in there. So a whole lot of clarification has come down. And like I said, y'all, I'm not going to, there's so much information in there to try to go through all of it. We'll miss all the points. So I'm going to
Right.
be breaking that stuff down so we can really tear it apart and get into it. But that was just, I found to be very interesting. There goes that clarification. But again, the prosecutor said, oh yeah, Kelz was lying, and the people that were interviewing him for this, this loss mitigation or this mitigation claim crap, they believed every lie he told. I mean, like I said in the other video, that was really unprofessional for them to even make that statement.
Okay,
You
but the
know,
one thing I want to also point out is, how is it that he is the one that's being dishonest, but
ooh,
everything that the government has done has been
girl,
dishonest. So that
come
doesn't
to
make a lot of sense
at
to
all.
regurgitate what transpired in the trial and to not touch on valid points. I think that this was just it's it's just
They just did it
mm,
with their eyes closed. I feel like the AUSA, like the government, knew that the judge was partial to them. I feel like the AUSA and the judge felt like, hey, yeah, it's a Me Too movement. Let's get them. And
but
that's what they were operating from.
one of the things I also want to point out to people is, I hear so often that, oh, people have suppressed their memories and suppressed their feelings and suppressed
Mm-hmm.
what happened to them. But we also have to understand that they're not suppressing these things. You couldn't have went into a courtroom 20 years ago saying that you were a victim of anything without any proof.
Come
Not
on.
to mention that the statute of limitation was lifted so that these people can come in here in lieu of bringing evidence. So we can't sit here and say, oh, well, this person just remembered this 20 years ago. That's not how the judicial system worked.
Right.
And we were under more scrutiny then,
Right.
and people were more inclined to uphold the law.
Mm-hmm.
If you went on stand and you were dishonest, then you were discredited. But we
Mhm.
saw a lot of dishonesty in this transcript, and these people were still believed. So it
Yes.
lets me know that something is not right about these decisions that's being made.
Mhm.
And it lets me know that I don't believe that our society is this far hurt that they cannot get over their own pain and see
Mm.
what's going on. Because
Mhm.
unfortunately, I'm a college student, and I can
Mhm.
tell you now that it's not a class that I have been in that has not spoke on the Me Too movement, and I'm in a business class.
Yeah.
So that lets me know that people are aware, but unfortunately, I don't think it's people of black the black race or the black community, because this stuff is already written in books, and it's if you don't read, unfortunately, you're going to be behind.
Right. Well, and the thing is that this R. Kelly case, especially for people that support R. Kelly, and like I said, some people support R. Kelly because they feel like, Kelz didn't do a damn thing, that the witnesses are lying from start to finish. There's some truth in some of their statements to the extent that they had a relationship with Kelz, that they knew who R. Kelly was. And after that, I don't know what's truth and what's lie. Because to know that a mother texted on behalf of her child and then waited until the child got to the hotel room to call the police, you did that, you've lost all credibility in my book.
Right. And even when someone stood on the stand and said, I presented myself as an adult,
Come
and
on.
then afterwards I said I was whatever age I really was.
Right.
So when we listen to words that are predator and this person is a predator, how is that so when you are the person that initiated the encounter? He didn't come to you. You initiated, knowing your age,
Yep.
knowing who you were, knowing what your accountability was. But because he's the person that's older, he's the person that gets
Right.
the punishment. And that
Mhm.
to me does not make any sense whatsoever. I mean,
Right.
we have to look at this from the standpoint of if you're culpable in a situation, then there's no way for us to remove that culpability. This just is not fair, period.
Absolutely.
So you
Absolutely.
can't sit here and say, "Oh, I came in and shot the person at the cash register, but I dissolved of the gun, so that doesn't make it a crime." Like, this is just a situation that is America. I don't see why
It's
we
our
are
wake up
here.
call. What it is,
Right.
it's our wake up call. And so again, our job now, is to make sure that we are, even if it's on a social media post, that's where you can start. You know, we see these posts, oh yes, believe every single last woman. The first question we should be asking, did your ass go back? Did you go back? Because the only reason why a woman's gonna go back to a man is gonna be for that dollar
Yeah.
and that
Well,
other word to start with a D. Okay, that's the only reason why they're gonna go back for the
back.
most part. So
Well,
let's not play no games and play like, these women were just, pristine and just like I said, like the example I always use, like they were walking down the street and Kells didn't have shit else to do but pull up,
mm,
throw him in the trunk and keep it moving until he got
right.
him there that wasn't his motivation.
Yeah, I think that they have manipulated the mind of the people, especially when they sit back and say he's a predator when the people were the ones coming to him. So he was the
Instigators.
prey and they were
Thank
the
you.
predators. So
Thank you.
it's like I don't understand how people are not familiar with words and how words are structured and what they mean. Because when you look at the facts of what's going on, um, it just doesn't add up to me. And not to mention, if this case was fair, then he would have been able to at least go through, he would have been able to provide a defense when the judge
Well,
is telling you that you can't question these women and
right,
what their past were, and you're putting his past on trial. How
right,
is that fair? That
right.
doesn't make any sense to me. If you want to limit what it is that is exposed by her, then you need to limit what is exposed by him. Then
Thank
we
you.
would be fair. And then we
Exactly.
wouldn't be sitting here with this verdict, because If it was
Hmm.
fair, we would not have to see where people were given any type of immunity. If you are culpable in
Right.
any type of crime,
Come
then
on.
you should be standing the same type of charges. We
Exactly.
cannot sit here and say, oh, well, it's okay for someone to steal a Rolex watch, or it's okay for this person to bribe a government official, and they not stand any type of charges because they're testifying on behalf of the government. If they committed a crime,
Yep.
and if we're sitting
And
here
you're in
to
pursuit of justice.
right,
Hmm.
then we have to pursue all. We
Thank you.
don't pursue some, we pursue all.
And if you need the person who participated in the crime in order, if you need them to participate in your prosecution, and so you got to deal with them, so now they're no longer being charged. If you need to do all that just to make your case, you don't have a case.
Correct.
To me, you should be wanting to get everybody.
And the judicial system, unfortunately, I look at cases where people sit in jail for 10, 15, 20 years only to be exonerated uh, for not have committing those crimes. It takes a long time for a person to be exonerated and for the judicial system to work when they've wronged a person.
Right,
It's not
right,
an easy process. And
right.
it's sad that they can get you in there, they can
Thank
stick you
you.
with the charges, but it
Thank
has
you.
to be an uphill battle for
Come
you
on.
to prove your innocence. This is
Right,
not the judicial system that listen, it wasn't designed this way. You
right.
cannot sit here and allow public media to scrutinize somebody's character. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why there was never any injunctions filed, why he was
Mm-hmm.
never why they did not stop the media from slandering him, calling
Mm-hmm.
him all types of names, and
Mm-hmm.
just treat this case for what it
Well,
was.
and again, and y'all, thanks for pulling up. I appreciate every single last one of you. Please be sure to hit
Mhm.
the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Replay gang, leave a comment. You know, I want to hear from you. Let me look at some of these comments in the chat. Alan Browning says, those parents are weird and wanted a moment. I'll never forget them advertising their business in between so-called begging for their daughter. I knew what time it was then. Come through. And Lysandra says, right. Let me see here. Shout out to Esther. R. Kelly was a Playboy sex symbol. Sony has sold in. Let's see. Yeah, it's still 10 toes down. Free Kelz. The link is in the chat if y'all want to pull up. I don't typically do these open panels, but today just seemed like, if y'all want to talk about it and share some perspective, please pull up. You're welcome to. The link is in the chat. If you need me to drop it again, I will do that too. Oh, thank you, Pink Eyes. I sure will. Let's see here. Much support. Still love Kelly. Absolutely. And standing for justice, everything you're saying is absolutely correct. And a whole lot of things could have been avoided had Kel's initial team defended him properly. Had they defended him properly, we may not have been here today. But that didn't happen. Now, I do want to share this, and I don't know how many of y'all are hip to it, but I was checking out the details of the Minnesota situation, and I only found limited stuff. But apparently, evidently, allegedly, Kelz was there to do a concert in Minnesota. Some girl, she was invited to the hotel room allegedly, and I got this out of. It's not from a legal document. Allegedly, the girl came to Kel's room, and the girl was getting ready to leave, and Kelz wanted a hug or something like that. And he offered her a couple dollars, allegedly. Um, you know, Listen, the man. First of all, the man's out of state. You're working hard, you're singing, you're doing all this and that. You might have wanted some female companionship. But
Mhm.
so after that, the girl, so however it went down, that's essentially what the charge is. And I think it's something like prostitution or soliciting prostitution or something of that nature. The girls claim that she left And, she was here nor there with it. Whatever money was offered to her, allegedly, you know, but it wasn't until her cousin saw Kim Fox in Illinois, beckoning everyone. If you've had a bad situation with R. Kelly, holla at me. I want to know. We want to know. It wasn't until they were soliciting, accusers that the girl spoke up.
But you know what? They actually did the same thing that I found out, which was interesting, is they did the same to Bill Cosby. There's also Gloria Allred did an interview asking him for, I think it was $100 million, and she would not parade another woman out here in front of
You see what I'm saying?
the media.
That's
So
it.
I mean, I've
And
been
and when you see that, and you're absolutely right. I'm sorry for interrupting you. You're absolutely right, and that is the case. Standing for injustice, you're absolutely correct. The thing is, even with Trey Songz, these women have been, you claim you were assaulted, but then you're ready to make a financial deal. And as long as
right.
a financial deal can be made and you're satisfied with the bottom line, then you are cool to leave it alone. You're no longer a victim. And so then
Right.
what the government does is comes through and says, oh shit, let's get a RICO together. So now
Hmm.
y'all done got all this money. And if you accepted money as some level of a settlement, then that should not be allowed. That just should not be allowed. And those are the things we have to speak up about and we need to be demanding change on.
Yeah.
And I wish there was somebody in the chat that said, Mel, drop the link again because I got an idea how we can do this type of thing. Because that's what needs to happen. That's
Yeah.
just what needs to happen. I don't know if
Hmm.
you need to run a petition. I don't know, but I'm damn sure going to find out.
Right. I think that the supporters, had they all stood together and was focused more on what was going on versus um you know the other entities. I think that
Mhm.
the things could have been brought out more, more to um shine light on what's going on. Because if you go back, and I can tell you, I've been watching for almost 3 years, and I can tell you that Gloria Allred, if you go back to the interview where she had the gentleman that had the tape in his basement, or wherever he said he had it, or in his attic. She
Right,
said, now he's in Pennsylvania, but she says, we're going to take this over to the New York courts,
right.
right? And she look in the camera and she winks. Now,
Mm,
how is it that you're in Pennsylvania and you
hmm.
take a tape to New York? And how did it get to New York?
Chain
That's
of custody and all of
crossing
that. Yeah,
that's crossing state lines. So that lets you
absolutely.
know. And then how does Judge Donnelly have jurisdiction over cases, that crimes that allegedly occurred in California, Illinois, Florida? Why didn't these other states take up these charges if the
Right.
crimes took places there? So it's so many things about this case that I didn't understand,
Hmm.
and it's so many things that just does not seem to be
Doesn't
fair.
fit. Right.
Right.
Let me get some of these comments in here.
Okay.
Esther said, "My question: why did they come up with those charges in 2019? They could have done that in 2008. Why this woman not come in 2000, between 2002 2004? So the 2019 charges was where they were finally able, allegedly, to get the 2008 girl in the mix, allegedly. And that's still unclear. That's still unclear. And I'm going to tell you what I did. I'm in school too. And, we got this law class. And our professor is a lawyer, criminal lawyer. And I asked her, I said, well, how is it that they can take, um, how is it that they can take charges that were done? Isn't that double jeopardy? And so she said, without knowing the case in its entirety, it's hard to answer. But generally speaking, if it was a state charge, and now if the RICO is a federal thing, which it is, then somehow that opportunity is is available.
Mm.
And that's, again, problematic. Because my question is, why didn't we put Weinstein up on some damn RICO? Because he was doing the damn thing. He was RICOing his ass off. He was extorting folks. Let me hit some of these comments. Tiffany Only Please said, they run to civil cases instead of criminal. Exactly. And like I said, I feel like this Kelz situation spun out of control of the parents' hands, allegedly. I think they were just interested in getting a nice little payday, but somehow it spiraled out of control. And if they could have prevented it from getting this far, they would have. All they wanted was another payoff. And and again, the other main issue for me is Darrell. You had control over Kel's finances, and Kelz speaks on that too. In the information that came out yesterday, Kel's brother Bruce said that he told Kelz, "Man, you need to keep an eye. You need to audit your funds." But Kelz trusted this guy. He said, "You need to do an audit, man. Make sure you know all your money." Now, why Kelz didn't listen to his brother is no telling. Maybe Kelz felt like, I just don't want to open that can of whoop ass, if you want to know the truth about it. And so far, as long as Kelz was getting what he needed, he was content, maybe. But for him to finally go to the bank and be told, "Man, your credit is bad and you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money." That is enough to say, that's enough proof, because Kelz shouldn't, even his child support should have never been behind. You were the man's accountant. That means you were responsible for making sure that all of his debts were paid. That was his responsibility. Let me hit these comments. Let me see. Trina 16 girl, thanks again for pulling up. This is not RICO. RICO are involved many people. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And incident and the only RICO, the main man in this RICO charge is Kelz. Everybody else has gotten a deal. And like I said before in other videos, yes, L Mac in the house. What's up? Hey, we're doing fine. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm a little hurt, but I expected. You know what I'm saying? We all expected what Judge Andana was gonna do, but I'm a little disappointed. But we're gonna get through.
Yes.
Yes, man. Man, it's free art all day, man.
Right.
Yeah. It's just the beginning. We're going to stay positive minded, and we none of us really the true supporters. It would have been a blessing if Kelz would have been, if Donnelly would have said, "Kelz, we're so sorry. Get on out of here. Get you some ice cream and enjoy the summer. Sorry about your inconvenience." But I don't think any of us really expected that she was going to do that. So, and that's okay. But we know that Bones Jean is going to put up one hell of a fight.
Right.
The people to be watchful of is Darrell. Because Darrell and them do not want that count severed, because he is going to want to blame Kelz. He's going to want to get on the stand and defend himself and say, "Well, Kelz told me to do it. I told Kelz everything." But the documentation that came down yesterday or on the 27th states that Kelz, they hit Kelz up when he was out on the court playing basketball, and they said they kept coming to him, "Man, so and so need you to sign, so and so," and they said, "Look, damn, why not? Fuck it, I'm just gonna give him a power of attorney," and the man has had a power of attorney ever since.
But how can you take the word over somebody that's been stealing for this man damn near over 20 years?
Right.
How can you do a love?
I'm saying, how can somebody take the word over this man that's been stealing from him for over 20 years?
Thank you.
Got a whole restaurant in this man's name, off this man's diamonds, off his hard sweat and tears. They was in those studios hours in, hours night, putting out their music. That was scared.
Well, and even with that restaurant, and I looked that restaurant up because in the documents on yesterday, they gave the name of the restaurant, but what I didn't see was Darrell's name on that restaurant. So I said, So now you done took Kel, allegedly, but you done took Kel's money and to help somebody else out, or are you a silent partner? Allegedly. But what's tea with that restaurant? Because his name is nowhere on. I didn't see Darrell's name nowhere on it as far as like on the website and this and that.
You
It's two
got
other people's name on there.
Yeah, for a while, you know what I'm saying? I was upset with the government and USA Geddes and all them. They, some screwed me. I'm not even mad at them no more. I'm more mad at Judge Ann Donnelly for allowing this crap to go into a courtroom.
Yeah.
You expect the prosecutors to do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
But they asked for 25, and she gave them 5 more years. She sit there and watch all this stuff going in that courtroom. So I can't even really be mad at Attorney them Geddes now right now. Even though they did some bogus stuff too, but I'm starting to side out this judge. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, she has to save face, and her hope is that, allegedly, her hope is probably that it won't, that the appellate court won't even hear Kel's case. You know what I'm saying? Because that is when the all of the errors are going to come out. Hey, Mods, get this guy right here. Get out of here. What you ain't got nothing else to do. Get on up out of here, Naked HD. Ain't nobody trying to you. Y'all block him. Just block him. Just block him.
And then this whole case don't even make sense. You got a man, but they said it was doing all this stuff for 30 years, and he's the only one that got sentenced today.
Thank you.
Right.
It don't make sense. It's no way one man could did all this stuff by himself for 30 years and inside put out albums and write for other people and do video shoots and go on tour and all had a time to do all this by himself. There's no way. And the judge know that. That's why I'm ticked off that she even allowed this case. She said that even what's the name? The grand jury even reject this case just on that alone.
Right.
Yeah.
See, when the stuff's going down in the height of the Me Too movement, everybody thought that it was cute. It's cute. I'm sorry for you standing for injustice. What were you saying, honey?
I was going to say, yeah, she should have recused herself from this case if she wasn't going to be fair. Right. Because that only hurts. In the end, it's going to hurt her character. And if she's able to do this in our face, how many other cases that she's done this way? And is it just certain people? Is it certain color? Is it certain demographics? Like, this really needs to be, we really need to be looking into what has transpired. Don't just take this as, hey, she gave 30 years and we leave it there, because at the end of the day, if she's done something that was not right along with the AUS, they need to be held accountable.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And LL or Lil Mac, I'm gonna tell you what, don't stay mad at both of them, baby. Stay mad at both of them. That's what you do, because they work together. The AUSA and the judge, they're on this. Let me rephrase that. Stay mad at the government. That's what I'm saying. Right. Stay mad at the government, because if the prosecutor, if the AUSAs had not brought this case with that lame evidence, it wouldn't have been nothing for the judge to hear. And if the judge wasn't biased, because it appears as though she was, to me, it appears as though she was biased. And had she not been, then this case wouldn't have even snaked through the system. So, that's what the problem is. And then we need to be mad at this quote unquote Me Too movement, which is some bullshit. Period. Esther said, Geronda and Azriel lied not only about her age, but all this to have false IDs, who forged those identity documents. This was all a setup. That's right. Because if they really thought they had Kelz between your crosshairs, they would have been like, okay, where'd you get the ID from? Because we're going to bring them up. Because to me, that's contributing to the RICO then. Who made the fake IDs then? They need to be on some damn charges. Stop it. Corey said, Second Circuit has no choice but to hear the case. Whether they reverse it or not is the question. Absolutely.
I think Bill Cosby, they rejected Bill Cosby case and it went to the Supreme Court. So it's a possibility that appellate could
And they might.
reject it, or they may uphold the conviction, because they're so district court and appellate court are so connected to the people that more than likely it will, most of the cases that are very controversial go to the Supreme Court for being overturned. And so I think that because this is a precedent being set, that it's probably going to be Supreme Court. Now, I would hope that the appellate would hear it and would see the case for what it is, and we don't have to get to the Supreme Court. But it's unfortunately if we have to get there.
Right. Because I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Supreme Court either.
When it comes to all this stuff, timing was everything for the other side.
Right.
Yeah, Byron R. Kelly came out, you know what I'm saying, tampering with everybody, made everybody turn against him, you know what I'm saying, stopped doing his music and did all that. Then they knew that nobody wasn't going to go to his concert, so that way, they didn't lock him up so that way he couldn't make money and make revenue to get out of jail on bond. Yeah. So everything was strategic in how they moved.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a plan. But see, and that is what we should be focusing on as well, is that we see now how the government will work in concert with other governmental officials. Somehow the Me Too movement was able to encourage Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, to modify the statute of limitations. Okay, somehow they were in there able to get Kim Fox to do a fucking I'm sorry for my language, a damn casting call. Who wants to testify against R. Kelly? Come on, But we gonna rely on karma, because we know that does exist, like it or not.
Right.
We're going to rely on that. We're going to rely on Kelz having good legal representation now. We're going to rely on the fact that I honestly believe that Donnelly was asleep. Donnelly committed some errors, probably, and didn't think that it was going to matter to nothing because of the team that was representing Kelz in the beginning. This will be all right. We let this slide. She wasn't worried about that. But you need to be concerned, because Bongine is going to appeal that.
Right. She ain't gonna go down without a fight. She ain't gonna let up on this. I can tell her she's gonna fight to the death. She's not gonna let up on them.
I agree with all that. Let me check these comments out real quick. Thanks to all of y'all pulling up. Hit the like button, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Replay gang, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Let me see what we got going on here. Pink says, same script, different characters. This happened to Michael Jackson, Prince, etc. When you asked to separate yourself from Sony. Girl. You know what?
That seems to be some parallel in what that statement is, and how easy they can manipulate our mindset to think that people are criminals, and that have the people to turn on the artist and paint this perception. It's just baffling to me that they can get away with this.
I just feel bad. A lot of people don't even know the aspects of the ins and outs of this case. They just think the man is guilty. They ain't even trying to do no research or nothing.
They ain't listening.
I had to unfriend a lot of people on Facebook today because they said just talking nonsense, talking about Kelz got hit with that 30 piece today, a 30 piece big nugget. You know what I'm saying? Just laughing at the man like this ain't funny, man. If y'all really would know the aspects and the ins and outs of this case, you wouldn't be saying that.
Right.
Yeah, it's only going to take a public outrage or outcry like they did with the Central Park 5, because these people were also fighting for the injustice of the Central Park 5 until it became mainstream when they see us now. But unfortunately, we see that we just don't take enough time to care about our own. We don't take enough time to invest in our own. I have family members that won't even look into it. They'll be like, oh, well, somebody mad at him or somebody, it's just the craziness of the things that people say when I'm sitting here saying that, do you not understand what is going on? That this is being done to you in front of your face. It's not as if they're doing it behind your back. They are literally thinking, and it's sad to say that they think that we're too dumb to understand what is going on.
Right.
We're
Then
not
you
here
try to
to
explain
fight
it.
it.
Then you, right, ma'am, you're exactly right. Then you try to explain it to him and
Mm-hmm.
break it down. Well, all of them can't be lying. He did something. He
Yeah.
did.
Well, if you,
He peed
yeah,
on a speaker. Come on now. Why are you defending a pedophile? Like,
Right.
right,
come on now. If this man was a truly pedophile and was doing the stuff that they said for 30 years, Kelz would have been locked up.
Right.
right.
And another thing that I know for a fact that made me believe in my heart that he's innocent because what you mean a 15-year-old child's out with him doing all these sexual acts with him? You got to blame the parents. Ain't no parents been arrested. Ain't nobody else, you know what I'm saying, been
Right.
charged with it but him. So come
Right.
on.
Well, and see, and they avoid they avoid holding the parents accountable by making a deal with the the child or this and 2/3, with the person that lied about their age, and that's the whole thing. And again, if Kel's initial defense team would have been on top of that, because my understanding is that the black attorney that came in later, mechanic,
Can
Devereaux Mechanic, he
mm-hmm.
tried to do that, but he got shut down and objected and blah blah blah. But had that team been assembled and on point from day one, they would have argued that no, we will be able to discuss this, and judge, you have to let this information
He
in.
definitely had
They did.
ineffective counsel.
Yeah,
Definitely,
He definitely
yeah.
had.
absolutely,
There's a bus about that.
And I think the prosecutor played into they knew that with the ineffective counsel, they knew that they had a strong arm on the situation because had he had the correct attorneys, then they would have really been up for a fight. And I think that they knew that this was an easy win for
Right.
them. And they knew that they could overwhelm the jury. And they knew that by bringing in as many people that's coming up with these salacious stories that has been unfounded or uncharged, that was going to overwhelm the jury. And I don't think that they took the time to review any of the information. They just ultimately sat amongst themselves and came up with what they actually charged him with. I don't necessarily believe that they actually truly understood what the aspects were, because if you didn't believe any of the testimony, then there shouldn't even been a charge. If there was any type of a reasonable doubt in your mind as to whether or not this person really, if there was any doubt in your mind that this person was 17 or 18, why would you say that you're one age and you're not? That's a problem.
right,
So if you're looking from that aspect of it, then if I don't see that you were able to move beyond that aspect. You
right.
can't say that you're 19.
A blogger made a great point. She
What's
said
that?
that those jurors fell under how she said it, the Milgram effect or something like that, where they
Yeah,
just believe that the government
believe what the government said.
You gotta believe everything that they say, which is not cute, not true. Me looking at this situation, you got 30 years and you only got 5 Jane Does. You got 2 of them.
Right.
Two of them lied about their age. One said she was 17, which in Chicago, that's the legal age of consent. So that's basically not illegal. Then you got one that was of age, that was 19, which is fake. So if you got all these women and he like, it's no, you know what I'm saying? It's no ifs, ands, or buts. He likes all women, but he like women of age. If he was like an 18-year-old, you're pretty sure it's probably several of those girls that probably got in that might have lied about the age, might have was 16, pretending to be 18. Because how can you tell the difference between a 16 and 17-year-old from an 18-year-old? It was a lot on that lot about the age. It wasn't just those two. And they used that to bring him down.
Right.
Yeah.
But when he changed on number 5, he shouldn't have been held accountable because the police officer seen the ID. The mother about her age, and she told him his age. So what he's supposed to do?
Thank you.
To the Social Security office and get her Social Security to look up her age.
Fingerprinter.
Fingerprinter, yeah. Come on now.
Absolutely.
I don't even say he even been charged with that.
And Lil Mac, and that's exactly what I'm saying, is where when the judge even looked at that, when the prosecutor even looked at that, if justice was really what you wanted, when you saw that, you would have been on top of that instead of, okay, well, here's what we'll do. We'll cut a deal with you, okay? And we won't hold you responsible for all this BS as long as you testify against him. Well, testify against him for the shit you started? You
Right.
Right.
created this.
The prosecution following this case, they didn't even cover no ins and outs of no RICO or racketeering charges. Other man they charged, the only thing they covered was his sex life. Uh,
Right.
him
You.
being kinky and him being a butthole boyfriend, that's not a crime.
Right.
If it
Right.
is,
Yeah.
like a misdemeanor or something.
Come on.
If he
Well,
want to
that's
be in his bedroom and he pulling his girlfriend hair and he making her go down on him, how is that a crime?
Thank you.
I've seen
right.
Rush on porn sites. Nah,
Right.
it's
Well, the
crazy.
thing, but and okay, and but if you came back after all that,
Right.
if
You
you
gotta
came
be
back after all that and then stayed and continued to go back, what is that really saying? And then, oh well, it was my life. And wait a minute, let me put this up here real quick. Because what did Donnelly say? Uh, these victims were disposable to you. You left in your wake a trail of broken lives. You taught them that ain't nothing to whatever the hell she said. I got the screen blocked. But get on out of here. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. You don't mean that, Judge. You. That's the only thing the judge was doing, was making sure that she had this part of her. Here's why I'm going to sentence you part together. I don't believe she read any of that stuff. She didn't take any of that stuff into consideration, as far as I'm concerned.
She thinking that she ain't looking at it like from how we looking at it. She looking at it as if the mass media gonna, if she would have, you know what I'm saying, dropped all this stuff, she think the time's up and the Me Too people is gonna come after her. That's why she went on and did what she did. But when your integrity gonna kick in, like when you gonna hold a court of law? You a judge,
Right.
Right.
man.
Well, I think a lot of people are now starting to wake up to some of the tactics that she used in this case, because I've seen that they were making comments online about her not allowing but so many media people in. I think at some point she didn't want sketch artists in. So
Right.
I think that the community has a understanding that something isn't right about this case, but they haven't researched it enough. And I think when that research come in, is going to be when things are going to be exposed on a higher level. We can talk about it more on YouTube, but I think it needs to hit a higher
Right.
platform for
Oh,
people to understand. And I think if everybody had stayed on that focus and stayed exactly on what's going on, that I think this could have went viral, because
yeah.
I think a lot of people are, even some of the comments that I saw was like 30 years. Now, come on, this doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when a lot of the testimony in this case, we know, was on cross-examination. There was some inconsistencies, and there
Yes.
were some things that I think Kenneth pointed out, and also saying that you didn't give these statements to the government. So
Right.
I think that when the majority of America realized that, hey, something isn't right about this case, that's when the outrage come. But the outrage isn't here because they've listened so much to media and they didn't go out and research for themselves. And when they
Right.
find out they've been tricked and manipulated, that's when the outrage is going to come.
Right.
But that's going to be a little too late. So
Yeah.
I would urge everyone at this point to try to make sure that positively we go out here and we get these things out so that people will really understand. Like, if you feel like this man has done something, the government should have proved the case as to what he did and not what they assume. So
Right.
that's a problem.
Like I said a long time ago, I said if Kelz case would have been televised like
Hmm.
the other guy, Johnny Depp, everybody right now
Would
would
have
be supporting
seen.
R. Kelly. They would be supporting
Right.
him.
Mm.
And they would be going at Judge and Dunn and
Mm.
Attorney Geddes and all those people. They would be
Right.
fighting for R. Kelly.
Mm.
Right.
You
And
you got a point.
I think it's sad that, one of the things is when you hear the women that come up and speak and say, well, his fans, well, wait a second, weren't you a fan before your encounter? Wasn't that what drew you there? So it's ironic that you would say his fans are still in support. See, they really wanted him to face this trial with nobody there.
Right.
They wanted to turn everyone against him,
Mm.
where they could really do what they wanted to do and didn't expect any type of repercussion. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like, um, people are not just going to believe what you say just because you said it. We are looking into what the facts are and the lack thereof facts.
Right.
So when it comes down to properly understanding what happened, and I'm not a legal person, but I can tell you a lot of the stuff that has gone on. First, when I think of sex trafficking, I'm wondering there should be some exchange of money and some profit, and that was never shown.
Right.
Right.
And then you want to pick up, and then you want to pick up on the man act. Let's be real. I said this on another guy live other night. We all commit man act in some kind of way. If you had a girlfriend or a boyfriend that stayed in another city or another state, you
Mm.
travel across state lines to be with that person. So that's the man act.
Hmm. And
And
then the RICO is a corrupt organization. So where is the profit for any of this corruption?
right,
What was the corruption? Sex, how is it so much corruption in that there's no monetary value in sex? But that's not what people are seeing. They're hearing the salacious detail, but we got to look at what is the organized crime here.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Here's what we do know for a fact, and that is the governments all over the United States, because we know this is going on with Young Thug and them. They are pulling RICOs out they shoe. Okay, everything's a RICO. You get a RICO. You get a RICO. RICO over here. RICO over there.
they
You
abolishing
know what
that.
I'm saying? Everybody's trying to move under this RICO thing, and it's cute because it gets to just sweep everybody up, and the prosecutors have a lot more length and discretion to charge things and to throw things up against the wall and see what sticks. And the bottom line
Hmm.
is, the whole bottom line on this thing is that they don't mind going, hard in the paint to put a RICO on a black man. They
Right.
don't mind doing it, and as long as they can continue to push these RICO acts, get guilty verdicts out of them, set precedent, then it's going to be
Hmm.
harder the next time. So you can be in Kroger next week, okay, or give it a
Mhm.
couple of years. You'll be in Kroger, and they're gonna put you on a RICO for buying, some stupid shit.
Me
So
personally,
Hmm.
I think the RICO is just an easy way to convict somebody,
yeah,
especially a black person. Like, because how can you defend 30 years of your life? Like, R. Kelly probably don't even remember half of these women that
come
they
on,
accusing him of. He probably
absolutely,
don't even
Hmm.
know who them. And I believe half of them are lying. He probably even have no encounters with some of these women.
come on.
Hmm.
Because one of the girls said, "Do you remember that? Do you remember that?" Said that in her statement today, her impact statement or whatever. Do you remember that? Hell no, you don't
Hmm.
remember that, and
Right.
you don't remember it either. You just
Uh-huh.
remember to say that. Whew.
Right.
They had the girl with the one that was talking about he was messing with Aaliyah. There, why is she there? She's even not even a Jane Doe of the case.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Um,
And
he,
not to mention in surviving R. Kelly, I don't think she said he ever had a sexual encounter with her. So it's strange that she's now went into a court system and has put that on public record. So if anyone is investigated first, she should be the first one to be looked into in her statement, because you can't just sit here and bring out these accusations knowing that they are unfounded, and
Right,
also to sit back and the way that they charged the bribery to bring Aaliyah in this case, you charged him with bribery, not with any type of sexual crime. So I don't even understand how that part was even allowed in the case at all.
right.
exactly.
Well,
So
what's going to happen is a whole lot more details are going to come out in this Chicago trial. So that's certainly going to happen. Bongine is going to paint the picture. We do know that the government put a motion in there trying to trying to put Bongine on a very narrow path in which to be able to defend R. Kelly,
right,
and we haven't heard from the judge in regard to those motions. So we're going to stay on top of that.
Right.
Um, and we're just gonna have to stay on top of it, y'all. That's all we can do. And however we can, whenever we can, we got to speak out about this Me Too movement bull crap. We
right,
have to
Bull
speak out
crap,
about
because it's an easy way, and it's just like I told a couple guys, I said it's gonna be sooner or later, man. You ain't gonna be able to date anymore. If you kiss a girl, you give her a tongue, she might go tell the police on you. He tongue kissed me. You might get sued for
hmm,
that.
Well,
it's crazy. And
she
like,
better do it. She better do it in 12 hours. You got 12 hours to get down there and file a report. Because if
Well,
you come back for another one, if you come back for some more, then
right.
you're suspect.
right,
In California, as long as in California you have a lifetime as long as you suppress it. So it's strange how uh this system is.
Yeah.
And then it's strange how the Illinois case, where if you really had the evidence,
right.
why is it that you're trying to limit the things that's brought into the case? You brought these charges.
Thank
So
you.
the reason why you brought them is for me to defend myself against them.
Right.
And a proper defense is for me to be able to defend every aspect, not for you to limit what it
Thank you.
is that with
How I
the
do it.
charges. So when you see things like that, you know that that's unfair, you know that it's unjust. So when people don't get involved and they see that the government is saying, we have all this information, but we don't want you to be able to tell us, we want you to tell us what your
Right.
defense is.
I seen
Right.
it somewhere. They
What?
said they don't want this man to have an alibi.
Come on.
Right, that doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
that,
So
and then
you're yeah.
it's crazy.
It
That
is.
doesn't make any sense. And then they want to know what your defense is so they can go basically plead around what your defense is. Kind of with the Bill Cosby when when Miss Huff went on public record in 2014 saying that he allegedly did something to her in 2 weeks before his trial, or a week, I'm sorry, before
Mhm.
his trial, when Jennifer Bunjean got the records from the Playboy Mansion for almost 40 years ago, and when they realized he or she wasn't there, they
Allowed
basically
her to
allowed
change
her
her name.
to to
Yeah.
redo her deposition. But my thing is, if you went on record in 2014, you didn't think
Come on.
by 2022 that this, and if it's so traumatizing to you, how was this
Look at
not
it.
factual?
Right.
And
And
that's the scary part
right.
of
And
the
Right.
so
judicial
traumatizing
system.
to her, man. They said it happened 40 years ago. She had 40 years to do something about it. She ain't
Mm.
do nothing about it until now. She didn't even bring charge him. She sued the man to get money.
Yep.
Right. And
I,
she was able to do so because of the way that the how things have been changed. The judicial system uh has waived the statute. So she wouldn't have been able to do this 40 years ago because the court system wasn't designed on he say, she say back then.
mhm.
So if
Right.
you didn't have the evidence, you wouldn't have had the charge and you wouldn't have had any type of civil remedy. So
Just like
that's
the
what
RICO.
people,
The RICO too. They didn't have that
right,
back. And now
right. So
they prosecuting and abusing that law, the
Yep.
racketeering law against people.
but they also put out the salaciousness of what's going on to keep you unfocused, will keep
Right.
you not being
Right.
focused on what's going on. See, you can say 40 years ago, but the only crime in America that did not have a statute was capital murder. And even with capital murder, you still have to prove that this person committed this crime. You can't walk into a court system and say, I believe she killed this person, and not have evidence.
No
And
evidence.
20 years later, so you have to ask yourself, how did sexual crimes get to this stand where somebody can say you did something and you have a murder case where it doesn't stand the chance? Like, somebody is dead, they're not coming back. So it just doesn't make any sense to me, period.
It's people, man, that get charged with manslaughter and second degree murder get less charged than what R. Kelly facing, man. That's how crazy. That's crazy.
Well,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what, y'all. I do agree with everything y'all said. I also feel like these people need to, if the laws need to be changed, and we need to put some time limits on there. If you
Hmm.
if you are molested or raped or anything of that nature, and you live to tell about it,
Hmm.
then you got 12 hours. And like Jim's and Jam Show said, you can do a lot in 12 hours. You damn sure can. So you need to, the laws need to change where we need to hold the person who is a victim accountable. Do your part then. If you're a victim and you want to be believed, report it.
And I
Report it timely.
And I think the
Right.
thing with Faith should have been dropped too because she tried to pursue charges on him in Texas, her hometown, and they refused the case. So she had to go to New York to bring charges up on him. Then in the law that they charged him with, he can only be charged with it in New York and California, and he don't even stay in New York and California.
Come on,
exactly. In Chicago, in Atlanta. That's crazy.
That's why, and that's why so doing that RICO let you scoop everything
right,
everything
and that's what Jennifer Bongine was actually saying in so many words. Well, she was basically saying that these charges they could have brought against him for whatever reason they chose not to, and they basically did it under the umbrella of the RICO.
Yep.
But again, like I said, there's no way for you to just say he's the enterprise and there's no person because yeah,
and he's the only one that didn't get no money. He ran an enterprise, but he came out broke. Come on now. He came out broke. Everybody else came out to the good. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they
got restaurants.
And they said Jane Doe number 5 was a victim, but she was standing while he was under an indictment with her. If she was in so much danger, why didn't the government go and Homeland Security get her up out the Trump Towers?
Come on.
One of the things I want people to also remember that Michael Avenatti, who was representing her parents prior, said it was easy setting up the golden goose. So I'm still wondering exactly what did he mean by that.
You're right. And
what did you mean by that? So was this already something that was planned for this person to stay here for a certain amount of time to, put this information here? Like I don't want to put out too much, but I just want people to think that it just doesn't make any sense how all of this came about. And then you're talking about letters that was found in a storage where the government went to prior. And these letters, did anybody take a look at them for any type of authentication? And so it's just a lot of stuff that I feel like
we know that the setup is in. We know this. Yeah. The setup is in, and it's all right. It's gonna come out clean. We're gonna come out clean in this thing. I want to thank both of y'all, Lil Mac and Standing for Injustice. I appreciate y'all so much for coming up here and sharing y'all perspective on some things. Both of y'all made some really, really, really solid, good points. This thing just ain't over though, y'all. It's not over. More's coming out. We're going to stay on top of it. We definitely got to stay on top of what happened with this YouTuber, Dubosky, and see what comes up out of that. How many charges they're going to, break down out of that one. Because all he did was, it's 2 videos. You made one comment for the most part. But how many charges? Count 1, this, count 2, that. So what are they going to do with that? And will he be able to even talk himself out of that? So we got to keep our eye out for that one. The laws need to be changed, and we just got to find a way how to make that happen. Because they're doing it now to the celebrities, but just give it a minute, and your regular John Q. public will be the next person they'll be able to do this to without any problem whatsoever. So I thank y'all for pulling up. Y'all, everybody, thank you for pulling up as well. Be sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Replay Gang, leave a comment because I want to hear from you. And that's it. That is the podcast. So until next time, y'all, we will see ya when we see ya. Welcome to the Only Male Cruise Show, the podcast. I am the only Male Cruise. Be sure to hit the like button, share, subscribe. Replay Gang, leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show, you guessed it, they're all mine. Let's go to work.